the Australian dollar for the week of September 28th. This last week was an inside week. It made a new high and it failed to maintain this high, only to trade back below the prior week's high and the prior 2 weeks high. So that again is a second week of failure. Last week was a failure. It traded above the 1 and it came back down. But again, the trend is so strong, we do not have a reversal signal, so we shouldn't be looking at shorting it until we do have an entry to go short, because this could be just a pause in momentum. It could be we need to have another retest of the highs or a failure to make a higher high. So that might develop into a gift, or it might start to continue to resume the trend. This is a long trend that started from the beginning of 2009, actually from February 2009. It has been moving up steadily, and we are here at the top end of the trend. So if we are to be taking any trade, the high probability trade is actually a buy, and we should be looking for a continuation to the upside. On a weekly stance, the only trade on the short side that we should be taking for a position trade would be a trade below 85.45. As long as the prices are above 85.45, we have no technical reason to go short the Aussie dollar on a position or a long-term scale of a trade. We might be taking short scalps based on the daily chart or based on the intraday chart, but for the position trades, if the ones of you that are having a position in the Aussie, all what we have to do now, since we started the trade from a long time, you place your stop below the 85.45, and we're still looking for a test of the 89.50. So we still have technically at least 300 points to the upside. Worst case scenario, you're looking for a test of the prior structural point or the prior momentum high of 88.70. So we still have at least 100 pips to the upside. They might make one more last ditch attempt to test that structural point of 88.70. So based on that, we are maintaining the long bias. Our short point would be, in this case, the structural short is going to be 85.45. And I am going to post at the end of the session a whole screen for the radar screen, so that you can, if anybody wants to revisit these numbers and copy them and put them in his or her radar screen, they can see these points. Our buy on the weekly, we're still long, but if somebody wanted to initiate a buy, our buy should be on a weekly above 87.33. I'd rather let's take a look on the daily chart. Maybe we can get a better entry or a more timely entry to the upside. As you see on the daily chart, we have been in basically a sideways pattern, if you will, trading above the 85.45. This now is going to be, I'm going to change the colors to make it our structural short, and so that you know, so if we have a trade below this, then we are going to take a short. For a buy, this is 86. I can't see the high. This 86.60. This is really a pretty tight coiling range, and as I said, the bias is still to the upside. So let's see if we can take a short trade out of this first, and then we will see if we can find a long entry. So I can take a long entry above this high, which is 86.80, somewhere like that, or I can take a long from this low, which is 86.86, which is pretty much, I mean, these two are pretty close, so that makes it actually a very, I like these points when you have a daily high and a daily low, which are pretty close for about 6 pips or something like that, especially on a foreign exchange, close together. So our buy point, let's do that, it's going to be 88.80. I'm just going to put the 80. So that is going to be our buying point. This is 88. This is 86.82. So we are going to initiate a buy to go long at 86.82, which is just 5 or 6 pips away from where we're at, and that is pretty good because our risk on that trade will be minimal. So our long for the Aussie is going to be 82.82, and our shorting point would be, if we do trade below this low of that day or the prior day's low, because we have just traded back on it. This is a pretty positive sign. This is a reversal. We should be looking for a continuation to the upside, but as I said, we are in a pretty tight range. So this is 86.19. So our short is going to be 86.19. So we are in between. This is an inside, even though this day is a positive and would suggest a continuation to the upside. So we do have very nice entry points. Our buy point is going to be above 86.22, 86.82, and our short is below 86.19. Let me put those. So as I said, our short is 86.19, and our buy is 82. Is this right? 82. I'm sorry, 86.82. I made a mistake. I do. All right. Looking at the intraday, so we can see what's happening on the intraday. I'm putting the key lines on. As we have seen from the daily, it's a pretty range-bound kind of a trading, going above one daily high to fail and so on. And so we are in a pretty neutral zone, if you will, as far as the Aussie dollar is concerned. And again, I will be taking my leads rather from the daily highs and the daily lows that we have entered on our radar screen, rather than just taking the breakouts of the range. There are sometimes we have to focus on a higher hierarchy of trades, so we can make sure, based on the chart structure, that there are certain elements or certain setups that we should focus on taking a higher hierarchy of trades, and this is one of them. So we, again, as far as the Aussie dollar, we have a very low risk trade on the long side if it gets above 86.82, which is right there, which is very easy. And if we're going to go short, then we're going to go short below 86 19 or 86.20 over here.